Good morning class 8th. I am Shikha ma'am here. In the previous video we discussed resources chapter number 1 in your geography. Now in this video we discuss the question answer of resources. Now before we go to the question answer of resources, take out your pen and notebook and start writing. Now students, the first question is, what is a resource? Yes, anything that can be used to satisfy a need is a resource. In other words, we can say any natural or human wealth that can be used for satisfying human needs is a resource. It doesn't matter what is that thing, but anything that can be used to satisfy our need, that is a resource. You can write example also. The next question is, mention the different type of resources. Yes, resources are divided into natural resources, human made resources, human resources, and I already said you before, please don't get confused between human made resources or human resources, because human made resources are those resources which is made by us and human resources is ourselves. The next question is, why are resources distributed unequally over the earth? Unequally, which is not divided equal way. Now, the reason is that the physical condition of that place or the physical condition of the climate are different in different part of the earth. Yes, due to this, the variation of terrain, climate, altitude means height, the distribution of the resources unequal. The next question is, why are human resources important? Yes, human resource. Human resource means human being as a resource. And we are the we can say that ki only human resource are very important resource, which is because human resource are having that talent, having that skill, having that knowledge that can be utilized natural resources in different way. In other words, we can say that human resource or human being as a resource can utilize natural resources in one of the best way to generate more resources, applying with their knowledge, applying with their skill, applying with their talents. Now the next question is, what is sustainable development? Balancing the need to use resources wisely, to use resources in a proper way, and conserve them for future and protect them for future is called sustainable development. Because if we use it in a proper way, if we conserve our resources, if we use them in a proper way, we can plan it for the future also. The next question is, differentiate between potential resources and actual resources. First, I will discuss potential resources, then I will go to actual resources. Potential resources are resources whose entire quantity is not known. Not known. Next, not being used at present, but could be used in future, because we are not having that much level of technology. The present level of technology is not advanced enough to utilize it. For example, the best example, the uranium found in Ladakh, which could be used in future. Now the next is actual resource, a resource whose quantity is known. It is just opposite to the potential resource. Currently it being used. The present level of technology is capable to utilize it. For example, dark soil of the Deccan Plateau in Maharashtra. The next question is, what is resource conservation? Important one, because always we are talking about the resource, types of resources. Now this is important. What is resource conservation? Using the resource wisely, using the resource in a proper way and carefully, so that it will be available for the coming generations, is known as resource conservation. I hope this slide is very useful to you people. Now, thank you so much. Stay home, stay positive, stay safe. Bye, take care. Welcome to class 8 Geography, Resources and Development. First chapter is resources. In this chapter we will cover what is the meaning of resources and their values. types of resources, renewable and non-renewable resources, what is human resource development, and what is sustainable development. So let's start. What is the meaning of resources? Anything that can be used to satisfy a human need is a resource. For example, the water you drink for thirsty. You know water is a resource here. The electricity we use in our houses. Again, electricity is a resource. And the way we are using the transportation. The rickshaw you use to get home from school or somewhere else. It is a resource. So this is all we are going to study in this chapter. Water, electricity, vegetables, rickshaw and textbook have something in common. But what is that common? We know that they all are separated from each other. So what is that thing which is common between all these things? It's nothing. It is its utility. The way we are using them. We just don't keep it in ourselves. We use them. It is different thing how you use it, but our main concern is it that we use them. Therefore, utility or usability is what make an object or a substance a resource. I hope this line is absolutely clear to you. Now the best question you ask, how something become a resource? What it means? For example, if I give you electricity and you don't know how to use it, then how you turn into a resource? You go to school or colleges to learn something and you learn. But if you are not told how to apply that knowledge, then how do you make the knowledge resource? This is a big question. So to answer this question, always remember, things become a resource only when they have a value. And believe me or not, all the resources have some value. Because if you are paying for your education, there is absolutely a value associated knowledge. If a certain amount of energy, money or any kind of effort has been put in something, then it automatically become a something value. Worth. As we said, all the resources have some values. Some have economic value and some do not. The meaning of economic value is when it is useful for a country economy. For example, metal may have economic value but beautiful landscape may not. So metal like aluminium, copper, zinc, nickel, they are having economic value. You don't get it free. And the reason is that because these things are used for making important things like machinery, buildings, cars, etc. On the other hand, when you go out to see the beautiful mountains, river, lake, you don't pay money for it. And technology are two important factors that can change a substances into a resource. To see any kind of change, you need time. And technology is nothing. It is a way which helps you to getting that change. For example, computer, machinery, gadgets, etc. Now students, let's move towards next topic, that is our types of resources. Resources are generally divided into natural resources, human-made resources and human resources. So don't get confused between human-made resources and human resources, because human are ourselves and human-made is that things which we are made, and nature is a natural. So let's read natural resources. So by the name you can figure out it is drawn from nature and we use them without much modification. Some of natural resources are air, water, river, minerals. So now natural resources are classified into different groups depending upon the level of development, use of origin, stock and distribution. So these are the simple factors on which we will classify the natural resources. So on the basis of development, we will distribute it in two groups. One is actual resource and second one is a potential resource. Actual resource means what? How much we have and how much it is available. Whereas potential resource means what? That how much it can create it. On their origin, resources is divided into abiotic resources and biotic resources. It's simple. Just remember, abiotic means non-living thing and biotic means living thing. So just an additional A, which means abiotic, non-living things like soil, water, minerals, mountains, they all are fall under abiotic resources. But plants and animal all are fall in biotic resources. Now further, natural resources can be broadly classified in two groups. One is known as renewable resources and second one is non-renewable resources. I guess you know all about this. Renewable resources, which means that can be renewed again and again, and non-renewable resources is opposite of it. Basis on their distribution, it is divided into two groups. One is ubiquitous and second one is localized. The meaning of ubiquitous is it is a resource which found everywhere like air, water, soil, and meaning of localized means you have to found in a specific place like iron, ore, copper, etc. Let's read human made resource. The resource which are made by human through the resources which are acquired from nature but it is purely made by human, that is known as human resource. Some of the examples are buildings, road, machinery. In fact, technology is also a human made resource, which just bring to the next topic, that is a human resource. Human resource. So always remember, people are human resource because human are the potential to multiply the natural resources with the help of knowledge, skill, talent and technology. Education and health help in making people a valuable resources. That is why we focus toward improving the quality of people, skills and talent so that they are be able to create more resources known as human resource development. Again I say, that is why it is known as human resource development. This type of resources, let's move to conserving resources. How to protect resources and conserve them for future. So using resources carefully and giving them time to renew is called resource conservation. And then balancing the need to use resource and conserve them for future is called sustainable development. So students always remember, sustainable development is depend on the resource conservation because you need to first conserve it or preserve it and then only you can use it for future purpose. Some of the way for conserve the resources are recycling and reusing. So in all to conserve the resources, some of duties are: first, we use the renewable resources which are sustainable. We also conserve the diversity of life on the earth. We also need to cause minimum damage to natural environment, less cutting of tree. We also need to conserve soil erosion. So all are these that can ensure that we can maintain the life support system that nature provide. So with this, we have to come to end of this chapter. I hope you have to found this informative. Students, please stay at home, stay safe. Thank you.